A further threat came in 1075 with the famous Revolt of the Earls. Now this signalled a change in the threats to William's reign, because this time it wasn't simply the English or a foreign invader who decided they wanted to upset William's reign. This time it was people who you would perhaps normally expect to be loyal to the Norman invasion. A man called Ralph and a man called Robert. And both of these had decided they'd had enough of William. Historians suggest that this is because William had not sanctioned a marriage, which you can read more about in the study guide and in the sources. But essentially what happened is they decided they'd had enough and they wanted to rebel against William. But they decided that they were going to need some English support in this, and the only Earl that they thought was suitable to this and available was Waltheof, the son of Siward, the old Earl of Northumbria. And Siward, by this point, had been given some quite privileged positions by the Normans. He'd been forgiven by them. He had been made an earl. So he stood to lose a lot. But invited to the wedding, which they did without William's blessing, he seemed to have been persuaded to join in the rebellion. It seems that afterwards he had a change of heart and he confessed everything to Lanfranc, the new Archbishop of Canterbury, the new Norman Archbishop of Canterbury. Lanfranc excommunicated the rebels and immediately made sure that William was aware, William at this time being in Normandy. William swiftly had Waltheof imprisoned and sent Oddo, Bishop Oddo, his half-brother, to deal with the rebels, and an English army also had a hand in dealing with the rebels at this time, which is significant because an English feared were the ones who kept Robert's army bottled up, so they couldn't join up with Ralph's army. In the meantime, Oddo and his army sorted Ralph out, who retreated and sailed away to Denmark, returning briefly with some Danish help, but that didn't really make any impact. In the meantime, Robert was caught and captured and imprisoned, Waltheof was beheaded, and Ralph was stripped of all his lands. He still had some land in France, which is where he went to carry on the fight against William. But significant though this was, in that it was not a rebellion purely of the English, but a rebellion thought up and led by people of French origin at least, because Ralph was Breton, and Robert was William Fitzobern's son, who was William's right-hand man during the invasion. Anyway, it signals a change, because no longer the English rebelling, but William has to face a rebellion from people who might be seen as his own men. But the rebellion fizzled out to nothing again in the end. Not without some decisive action by William and his followers, I might add.